Picture this, you've worked tirelessly for decades, dreaming of finally being old enough to be on the golden bachelor or bachelorette. I turned them both down. But now that retirement is here, you're faced with two paralyzing fears. Spending too much and risking running out of money in retirement, or spending too little and missing out on the livability you truly desire. I've seen this struggle up close. My father, my in-laws, even my clients, they've all felt trapped by this fear. Maybe you do too. So in this video, we're gonna bust through that fear and create a spending plan that finally gives you permission to spend and enjoy your hard-earned money without guilt. Here's what I'm gonna share with you. A simple 5-step guide to managing your spending confidently, how to spend on what truly matters without second-guessing yourself on every last purchase, and strategies to protect your savings from unexpected surprises. I'm also going to share some frequently asked questions from my clients about spending, like how to avoid feeling guilty or what happens if you overspend. Welcome to the Retirement Guide channel. I'm Daryl Rosen. My firm helps people all over the country plan for and enjoy securement or financial security and happiness in retirement. If you have a comment on this content, please shoot it my way. I love hearing from you, even if it's telling me I'm talking too fast or too slow, or you don't like my editing, or you think I'm a buffoon. Too late. My boys beat you to it. Whatever the case, here's how this video is structured. First, I'm going to talk about some myths that frankly serve no purpose, and then the mechanics of a spending plan, or 5 steps. And then how to maintain your spending plan, and finally some troubleshooting if things don't go quite right. Myth number 1 is you have to spend as little money as possible to make your money last in retirement. I realize it's completely normal to worry about running out of money in retirement, but letting that fear take over, that really it defeats the whole point of retiring in the first place. Sure, I know there are plenty of psychological reasons behind those feelings, but here's the thing. You've worked hard to save for this moment. Retirement is your time to enjoy the life you've built, not to live in constant fear. The truth is, with proper planning, you can strike a balance between spending and saving. A well-structured budget ensures you can enjoy today while safeguarding your future. Myth number 2 is that Social Security is enough to live on. Now, Social Security is a vital resource for sure, but it was really only designed to replace about 40% of the average worker's pre-retirement income. For most retirees, this isn't enough to maintain the desired lifestyle. The truth is, you can supplement Social Security with savings, investments, or other income sources like rental properties, dividend stocks, or even part-time work, which helps in a lot of ways to create a well-rounded retirement plan. The third myth is that financial planning ends when you retire. Au contraire. Retirement isn't the finish line for financial planning. It's really the start of a new phase. Life events like market changes, unexpected health expenses, or even newfound hobbies can impact your situation. The truth is, if you regularly review and adjust your plan to stay on track, it'll be really helpful. Consider annual check-ins with a financial advisor, self-assess your budget and goals to adapt to life's changes. The fourth myth is you should only live off the interest or growth of your savings. Right? This advice may have worked in the past, but with today's lower interest rates and longer life expectancies, it's really overly restrictive. The truth is, a withdrawal strategy that combines spending from both growth and principal ensures your money works for you while you enjoy retirement. But here's the thing. You got to be careful to not rely too heavily on rigid rules like the 4% rule, which can really reduce spending in retirement, early in retirement. I'll have more on that later. And the last myth is it's too late to make adjustments once you're retired. Many retirees, I find that they feel locked into decisions they made earlier, but financial plans are meant to evolve. Whether it's reallocating investments or finding new ways to cut expenses, small changes can have a really big impact. The truth is, adjustments are not only possible, but essential. So it's important to embrace retirement. It's a dynamic phase of life where changes are expected and manageable. These myths are harmful because they can create fear or complacency, or both. Fear of spending or the complacency of thinking you really can't do anything about your situation. It is what it is. The truth is, a balanced and intentional spending plan like the one in this video can help you sidestep these pitfalls. Okay, so now you know some of the myths. Let's get into the mechanics of a spending plan. So the first step is to calculate your retirement spending needs. So we want to gain some financial clarity and understanding exactly what you need to spend each month. What I would like you to do is to break your expenses into 3 critical categories. Essential expenses like non-negotiables like housing, utilities, groceries, insurance, healthcare. Think of these as the foundation of your financial house. On top of that, we have discretionary expenses, which might include fun and lifestyle enhancing costs such as travel, dining out, hobbies, and gifts for your loved ones if they're nice to you. These are the rewards of retirement, so don't shy away from them. And then there's the unexpected costs, these emergencies, a surprise medical bill or major home repair. Having a cushion for the unexpected is really a key for you to have some kind of peace of mind. Here's a securement tip. Use tools like Vanguard's retirement income calculator or consult a financial advisor to estimate your total annual spending needs. Do not forget to figure in inflation, because you know today's dollar won't stretch as far in 20 or 30 years. Here's securement tip number 2. Don't go hog wild on inflation, because rising prices, they affect each of us differently. Plus, if you figure inflation but don't count that we naturally spend less as we age, your plan's gonna be cockeyed. You're not going to spend enough when you're younger and healthier. So that's step 1. Step 2 is to create a flexible budget. Now, we have to hone that flexible budget. A rigid budget, you can probably imagine, can feel restrictive, but a flexible one gives you freedom within structure. So there's something known as the 50-30-20 rule that gives retirees a simple framework. If you think 50% for essentials, like covering what we discussed, housing, utilities, healthcare, groceries, 30% for enjoyment, so you're going to use that for travel, dining out, and hobbies that might bring you some happiness. And then 20% for savings or safety. This goes to your rainy day fund or investments for unforeseen expenses. Here's a securement tip. Use a budgeting app like You Need a Budget or Every Dollar, an app actually many of my clients rave about to track your spending and stay within these targets. Every Dollar is a Dave Ramsey app. It's a great tool. Please take his advice with a grain of salt, please. Review your budget monthly and adjust as your needs or priorities change. Step 3 is to manage withdrawals efficiently. Your retirement accounts are your lifeline, you know that, and managing withdrawals wisely ensures your money lasts and you save money on taxes and giving you more to spend. So here's how you do it. You can start with the 4% rule. This is a widely used rule that suggests withdrawing 4% of your retirement savings annually, adjusting for inflation. Your money will last. It's a good starting point. But you may know that I do not favor this approach for a few reasons. The first thing is that everybody's situation is different, and I would not trust your happiness to a rule of thumb like the 4% rule. Number 2 is I believe it leads to the zone of regret. Now, this is the place where you realize too late that you could have spent more, but now you can't because of health. It becomes too late. It's a decent place to start. The second thing I want you to think about is embracing tax-efficient strategies. So think about your accounts in this manner. They fall into one of 3 buckets. There's the taxable account, there's the tax-deferred accounts, and there's the tax-free accounts. The taxable accounts are like your brokerage style accounts. Tax-deferred accounts are 401ks and IRAs and those kinds of accounts where you get a tax deduction and the money grows tax-free. Tax-free accounts are Roth IRAs. Now, you may not know this, but there's a mathematically ideal amount of money to have in each bucket to minimize your taxes. And if you can do that, you're gonna have the ability to spend a little more money. The next thing I want you to think about is balancing safety and growth. One of my cardinal rules of investing is that you got to keep 2 to 3 years of living expenses and save for investments while allowing other funds to grow in stocks or ETFs for long-term sustainability. Here's a securement tip. Consider hiring a fiduciary financial advisor to craft a withdrawal strategy tailored to your goals and ensure you're minimizing your taxes. Someone who can create a plan for a flat fee or help you on an hourly basis. Someone who isn't gonna try to sell you something. Someone who will help you spend more when you're younger and healthier. Yes, this video is sponsored by the fine folks over at me. This video is sponsored by me. To see if I'm the right fit to help you, click on the link in the bio. Commercial over. Step 4 is to plan for unexpected expenses. We know life is full of surprises, and even the best retirement plan needs a safety net. Think about creating a rainy day fund, so we'd want to set aside 6 to 12 months of essential expenses in a separate account. This fund should be able to cover the kinds of expenses for emergencies, housing, utilities, food, basic healthcare, that kind of thing. Here's a securement tip. Use a high yield savings account or money market fund to keep these funds accessible while earning some interest. The 7-day yield right now, as I record this video, is still over 4%, that annual rate of return. These rates, there's just no reason to not have enough set aside for emergencies. I also want you to think about a plan for healthcare costs. We know that healthcare is one of the biggest unknowns in retirement. Medicare covers a lot, but they do not cover everything. So plan for premiums, co-pays, prescription drugs, and possible long-term care. Here's a securement tip. If eligible, use a health savings account or an HSA to cover medical expenses tax-free. Also consider supplemental Medicare or long-term care insurance to manage big-ticket healthcare costs. Long-term care insurance, People think it's for the later stages of life, which it is. But what many don't realize is that if you have long-term care insurance, you have the permission to spend earlier in retirement. And that's a big deal. I also want you to think about preparing for big expenses, whether it's home repairs or vehicle replacement or relocation. Large expenses can arise. So you got to be thinking about keeping funds available for major home repairs, roof, HVAC, plumbing, moving costs if you're thinking about downsizing or relocating, replacing a car every 8 to 10 years. Here's another securement tip. Research programs offering discounts for grants for home upgrades, especially for retirees. For example, there's something known as the Weatherization Assistance Program, or WAP. It's a federally funded program in the United States that helps low-income households, including retirees, improve the energy efficiency of their home so they save money. Eligible applicants can receive upgrades like insulation, heating, and cooling system repairs, good stuff, and weatherproofing, all at no cost. There are a plethora of these programs out there. You want to think about protecting against inflation and emergencies. You know inflation can erode your savings, so you might want to consider inflation-resistant investments like TIPS or dividend-paying stocks. Also, I've recommended this already, and I'll keep saying this, you got to have some money set aside for unexpected events like family emergencies or health crises. Easily accessible funds like money markets, right? They're still paying quite nicely. Step 5 is align spending with joy. Look, retirement isn't just about making your money last. It's about making your money livable. So you got to take some time to reflect on what brings you happiness and build your spending plan around those priorities. So here are some things that my clients have done. I have a client that created a joy list where she wrote down experiences and activities that truly matter to her. Whether it was traveling the world or taking a cooking class or spending quality time with family, it didn't have to be a lot. And then you got to think about spending on what matters the most. Allocate funds to those joyful experiences first and let the other discretionary spending take a back seat. Quality over quantity. This is a tip used by a majority of my retired clients. They focus on meaningful, high-impact experiences rather than spreading themselves too thin. Here's a securement tip for you. Schedule your big joy expenses like your vacations, your major purchases, early in retirement when you're healthiest, younger and healthier, and most able to enjoy them. Here's a bonus securement tip, number 2. It doesn't always have to be a big expense. I have a client whose one extravagance is hiring someone to clean the house every 2 weeks. But during that time, she goes for a walk in the forest preserve with an old friend. She loves it. Section 4 is maintenance, because even the best plans need regular upkeep. So here's how to stay on track. I'd like you to review your budget annually to check to see if your spending aligns with your plans and make adjustments. I want you to monitor inflation because rising costs can impact your savings. You might have to adjust your withdrawals as needed. And then stay organized. Use a financial tracker or work with a planner to keep things running smoothly because there's going to be bumps in the road. Our last section is troubleshooting. Here are some answers to common retirement spending challenges, like what if I overspend 1 month? Overspending happens to everyone. It's not the end of the world. The key is to recognize it early and make small adjustments before things get out of hand. Get back on track. Some solutions. Cut back next month or reduce discretionary spending such as dining out, entertainment in the following month to get back on track. Even these small changes can really help you balance your budget. And if you have to dip into your discretionary fund for another month, you can go ahead and do that. Use a portion of those funds to cover the overspending without guilt. You can also review your budget. Look at where the overspending occurred. Was it a one-time event, or do you need to adjust the way things are planned for in your budget to reflect your actual spending habits? Here's a securement tip for you. Set up spending alerts through your budgeting app to catch overspending early and prevent it from snowballing. The next question is, how do you avoid feeling guilty about spending? For many retirees, shifting from a savings mindset to a spending mindset is super difficult. Years of discipline make it hard to feel comfortable using your savings, even when that's what they're for. Here's some solutions. To reframe your mindset, remember, you save this money to enhance your retirement, not just to have it sit in an account somewhere. Spending on things that bring joy and fulfillment, that's all part of the deal. You can also focus on balance, right? Your budget is designed to give you the freedom to spend without fear. So you kind of have to trust the process and know that occasional indulgences won't jeopardize your future. And then celebrate wins. Reflect on how your spending aligns with your values and your goals. Whether it's a family trip or a new hobby, remind yourself that this is what the money is for. These moments are what you work so hard for. Here's a securement tip. My client, Mary, keeps a retirement joy journal where she records all the meaningful purchases and experiences, and this helps her reinforce the positive impact of how she spends her money. Okay, retirement isn't just about making your money last. It's about living a life you love. With the securement spending framework, what I've outlined for you today, you now have the tools to spend confidently, to prepare for the unexpected, and to focus on what truly brings you joy. Thanks for watching. There are other videos here on the screen, and if you feel that there's someone who could benefit from a little extra confidence in retirement, go ahead and share this video with them. See you in the next video.